Due to my super edgy edgelord tendencies, I gravitate to isekai on the more obscure fringes of the genre. And that's unfortunate, cause I like a sexy dub, and many of these things just aren't getting enough heat to justify dubbing. The Great Jahy will not be defeated! Exclamation point. A bit of a janky title this one has, but it's at least on the shorter end of the isekai title spectrum. You may have seen this one's protagonist floating around on the interwebs because the outfit is potently horny. Booba straps, booty shorts, and dami-mami thigh-high boots would look great on any waifu. But you throw in a darker than porcelain skin tone, some cute as fuck hair, ears, and a purple dye job? Ooh girl, I'm obsessed with it, here for it, gonna goosh about it. Love me a waifu with a purple Karen haircut. Major Kusanagi did a number on me. Unfortunately for the horny, due to some reverse isekai bullshit involving her losing her station as the obligatory demon lord, second in command, and being forced to live in modern Japan without most of her magic powers, Jahy-sama spends much of her screen time as a fucking loli. This is a perfectly rational business decision by the mangaka, for you see, the raw degenerate power of a legal loli is unmatched, especially if she occasionally takes adult form and wears a bombastically sex-positive outfit. This reminds you that you're not the bad kind of pervert. Go off, King. You're totally not repulsive to women for liking this. It's cultured, and it's nuanced, and there's nothing wrong with it, Mom. Get out of my room. Nuh-uh. This Dakimakura love pillow is totally not vile and despicable. Despite how Jahy serves ultra cunt in her true form, this is a very wholesome anime. The stakes are pretty low considering the dark realm Jahy hails from has already been destroyed, and most of the action of each episode centers on her attempts to survive in the modern world. See, after an unknown number of years being waited on hand and foot as the de facto executive of Dark Realm Incorporated, concepts like work, rent, and budgeting simply don't register to Jahy at first. So, there's an interesting clash of feelings going on as I slurp down this show. On one hand, Lamau, privileged bad girl getting knocked down a peg, neener neener. On the other hand, which is definitely not down my pants, this cute little girl is devastated to learn that she has to labor for the man, or in this case, the woman, to keep herself fed and housed in this cold, brutal world we live in. Girl got bad luck and no credentials, and when she goes overboard buying snacks or creature comforts, she inevitably comes to the crushing realization that she hasn't left herself enough money to cover rent. Or she ends up eating nothing but bean sprouts until her next payday. You just can't really avoid feeling for Jahy, and the realities of mundane life take on this fascinating, if obvious, heartbreaking quality through the eyes of this adorable outsider. And whomst amongst us hasn't slummed it for a week or two because we bought a toy sword thinking it would help us slay our enemies? The cast of characters here is a bit hit or miss, but it's easy enough for me to chalk that up to it being a gag series. Jahy's boss doesn't seem to have a name yet. I think that's part of the joke. She's just the boss. And her whole deal is that she's super nice, has a great rack, and do be thick though. Her sister, also Jahy's landlord, wow, both of them are business owners, how nice, is a bit more fleshed out. For one thing, the boss calls her Ryo-chan, so we at least know part of her name. And there's a recurring bit about her being a tad insecure about how fleshed out her sister's body is. Jokes. You also have this constant conflict between her and Jahy, where the latter would rather die than pay rent. Relatable. Landlords do be bad people though. It's not a real job. Most of them inherited their properties or otherwise didn't earn them through any effort. There's also Duruji.
私です。ドゥルジです。ドゥルジ。 ルルジ。あのドルジか？このお乳の武器、お前で試してもよいね。喜んで。疲れた。椅子になれ。はい。ジャヒー様の重みが。尊い。
A former underling of Jahy's, who is massively more successful than her in living among the normies, with her high-rise bougie apartment, high-paying job, and personal limo. Due in part to her unexplained ability to control the hearts of people, whatever that means, Druge has been finding fuck tons of the mana crystals Jahy has kinda sorta but not really been looking for. These supposedly being crucial to reviving the Dark Realm, but see, the joke here is that Jahy constantly lies to Druge about her relative failure in Japan. She sells her this line of bullshit about taking the form of a child in order to stay under the radar of the magical girl what destroyed the Dark Realm. Oh yeah, did I mention there's a Maho shoujo in this? More on her in a minute. There are a couple other regulars like Jahy's small child friend with whom she do cute kid stuff. And this other chick from the Dark Realm who dresses in this dope military drip and hates Jahy / wants to take her spot despite having even worse luck than her. Characters. The show has some. That is a true statement. The magical girl, Kyoko Jingu, ends up being the most interesting side character. I mean, the name is great. Jingu Kyoko. Kyoko Jingu. Girl got a tasty name. Initially built up as a villain since she did, after all, solo the entire Dark Realm, which I guess would make her the heroine from another perspective. Out of nowhere, this cool chick eventually pulls a Piccolo and becomes a steadfast ally to Jahy. She has a really solid design, whether in the purple-haired schoolgirl mode that I'm partial to, or the magical girl costume with shorter blonde hair. Plus, the cute pair of beauty marks and aesthetically pleasing lime green eyes. She's also very selfless and endeavors to take on all the misfortune that mana crystals cause, so she ends up getting into all kinds of bad luck scenarios because of said misfortune sauce. The characters are all very memey and lol, so random, like the Demon Lord, who turns out to be in Japan too, but is pretty harmless. Even though I prefer adult Jahy for self-evident awooga reasons, little lowly Jahy is hella moe and pretty fun to chill with. She also gets some really diverse face work. Just look at this shit, how her eyes change there and there. Hell yeah, go off, queen. The show is ultimately pretty mid so far. It won't likely end up as my favorite thing ever as it goes forward, but it's wildly cute and wholesome. More of an uncomplicated slice-of-life comedy affair than a traditional isekai clusterfuck, but I think it's worth a watch, even if you're not sure it's up your alley. I was pleasantly surprised by the direction it took, how it almost immediately goes off the rails as Jahy gets overwhelmed by the trials and tribulations of life as a working stiff instead of putting all of her energy into finding mana crystals. It can be hard to have leftover energy for grand quests when you have a 9 to 5 draining your soul. And Hunty? Same. The vibe is relatable. The buzz is chill. The hang is solid.